Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Cayne. Before I walk back into the other room, because it's frankly a long trip, I'm going to see if I can use the PDT on this
I
terminal.
don't think it works that way.
So here's the guess that I'm having, is that we may have the humidity right, but we don't have the temperature right, and that means that this is too low. We need to increase the temperature, and so we'll just kind of turn it up to the highest temperature possible and then see if we can get there. uh, Otherwise, as I'm trying to think, is there a PDA or anything that would have given me any information about the maggots? This is the only PDA I could imagine had anything to do with it at all. Let's see. Nothing there. Nothing there. We're looking for a temperature that might be implied in any of these. No. No, no, no. No. The fungal threat is weak now, but soon it will spread to our food and our bodies, and if it has no resistance for us, perhaps the final warning to make haste. This traces spotted a cargo shipment earlier this year. I have no idea how it became so virulent. The fungus is having an observable impact on the cellular regeneration process. One patient began to develop a film of what resembled reptilian scales capable of secondary sets of eyelids. This is unacceptable. The spinal regeneration process has been mastered. Almost any tissue can now be perfectly reconstructed, but it's impossible to get definitive results with this interference. Cayne, if you truly seek rebirth, why do you hinder me so? So, Samantha scratched several demonic scrawls into an insignificant employee's back. I warned him not to get close to the succubus. She is a devil. Sometimes we need to make a deal with hell to get closer to heaven. Alright. So the fungus seemed to be interfering. The laboratory is missing several incubators. This is undoing the work of Adams. He doesn't need the equipment. I can certainly spare it. Perhaps the hobo is involved. We're reading all of this, and I didn't want to read all of this, and it still didn't have anything useful on it. I can't imagine, like, unless I'm just gonna have to go back and reread all of the PDAs. That's what we're getting to. If there's an actual specific temperature and I can't reach it for I guess I could go back into the brain emulation lab and talk to Adams and see if maybe he would tell me the information. I've got this whip, PDT, and the beta incubus incubator right now. See, the game sometimes doesn't want to go when I tell it to go. And this is a far trip. How could you have made it shorter? I don't know. There's ways. There's definitely ways. If the hallway had a ladder that walked right into the room that's I'm about to walk into. So the evacuation hallway just had a ladder, and there was a hatch there that could be only opened on one side. That would save so much time. and that'd be an easy connection to make. Let's see, PDT on sealed circular airlock. It's locked. It's inaccessible. Server store is locked. No entry permitted. Alright. We still haven't cut down this body. So it's 668 and 84% humidity, and we want the highest temperature possible.
Elevated activity detected in quad containment habitat.
Okay. We got it. That's nice. Let's go ahead and try this whip on this suspended human remains. I guess we're just going to leave it the whole time. There was nothing we were going to do with that. Alright. So I just had to click the number high enough and get the humidity at 84%. So there's a specific number that was the minimum temperature there, but you're just clicking forward. And the game told me, which is great, because if it hadn't told me, we would have gone backwards and forwards, possibly one extra time or many times. My plan, if it hadn't told us, was to go to the maximum, see if the indicator says that it's too hot now, then go somewhere between the middle of whatever the maximum would have been, 115 degrees or so, and 75 degrees, so I would have probably put it somewhere around 90 degrees, and then come back there and see if the game still said it was too hot or too low. Then I would have probably tried to find a middle point there and just half it until I found the exact number. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with that. I don't know how much more of this we are going to have to deal with, though. Oh, I overshot it. You do have to have a special temperature, don't you? So I'm gonna have to be more careful. There actually is a specific temperature, and I went too high. So we run back this way. Can we double click and just skip? No. That's a shame when the point and click adventure game doesn't have that option. Because we're starting to hit some classic tropes and problems with the game. With point and click adventure games where we're walking backwards and forwards. And like I said, if there was just a ladder here and a hatch, I go up this, I'm in that room, I don't have to walk through this room, that would be helpful. Now, that being said, you kind of need some information in this room, and that's why they're having you walk through it. But you could have put a terminal in the hallway and used the hallway as a piece of information. And so instead of having that same terminal give two pieces of interaction or information, have two different terminals do one piece of interaction and give information. Alright, 668. Let's see, legs. The bugs love legs. I'm gonna very slowly go down.
Elevated activity detected in quad containment habitat.
So 95 degrees was what it was. So 84% humidity and relative humidity, RH, and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot and very humid. Running out of things to say here, and also running out of time. Personally, it's past my bedtime as I'm playing this. So maybe we could finish the game here. The question is, what's the next step? Do we use the whip, or is the canister just going to be spewing gas? Can I use it in front of the fan to have gas ventilated everywhere, or do I need to do something else with it? Or do I just need to carry it and walk towards Samantha, the monster? And so we have the right humidity and this guy's smiling. We use this to retrieve one of them. So this thing is just gonna grab one of them, or does it just open it and let it crawl in itself? Just crawls in itself. Looks like it scaled itself down when it went through there too, because these things are actually bigger than those canisters look. So
What's your name? Frederick? No. Charles. Yeah. Clearly a Charlie.
One of my sons was named Charlie.
Was?
He died. His mother, she never forgave me. It was my fault. I should have protected him.
Died. Well, Charles, I think we're going to go back to Frederick. Right.
So that was kind of just a random forced in there conversation. You guessed a name, and that caused the conversation.
Maybe I could kill.
Yes.
The voice is all too happy about that idea.
The next conversations I have with my children, it will be different. Second chances at life don't come around often.
Second chances?
Your dad would be proud of you, Hadley.
If he knew me, knew who I had become.
Survivor.
It's not my fault that I look like him, or act like him. And it's certainly not this baby's fault. That's on me. I can't blame my child for where I am. I know that my baby is
Family.
family.
So we've got a rotting corpse. We know that this creature likes to eat rotting corpses. The question is, how are we gonna get the vents to open? Wait a minute, there's something new here. A bloated, livid tongue protrudes from obscenity from his mouth, blood oozing from the floor. He's very dead. So I could put the canister here and get him. Oh, I'm not sure if that's the place where we should place the canister or what. Because that's not what I was thinking at all. And for every dead person. I was thinking over here. For all the dead people around. Occupied. The grub squirms and slows around inside the glass enclosure. I was thinking this. But no. Because then I figured each of these airlocks might open and fill the whole room up. But the game decides to do something different. Interesting. Maybe we're going to end up having to put this on several dead bodies, but I'm not sure there are any other dead bodies, really. So we do this with this, and then we come over here and we get ready to cut it in half.
Okay, Freddy. Time to call Big Mama. I can get help. I can find you now.
No time. The elevator. It's close. It's open.
I did it. We did it. This baby is going to be a fighter like his mom. I can feel it.
I know.
So we did the right thing. Samantha, this fey beast, has been split into two. A sickly wisp of steam rises from its exposed innards. Let's get out of here then. Looking at our inventory, I guess we just held on to the whip for no reason. And the data, the patient information for no reason, or maybe we'll find out what I'm assuming is the case, is that I'm carrying a clone of Cayne in my stomach. But even if I am carrying a clone of Cayne in my stomach, it's like, unless they've got some advanced maturation going on, that baby's not anywhere close to transfer consciousness or mind into it. Notice all the force fields are up, so the game itself is telling me, look, we've done it, it's game over. You know, for a free game, this is way better than a lot of games I paid money for. It's a weird body horror thing that's not gonna be everybody's forte, or very many people's forte even. But I only have one small complaint of, I wish there was voice acting instead of written text. And I wish it was zoomed in more, too.
I'm sorry, Hadley.
That animation didn't look very smooth as she was wrangling about.
Nothing is wrong. This is the way it was meant to be. Hello, Hadley.
Well, that was an odd ending. Am I just not getting it? Like, a slight implication of what I thought, that she was carrying Cayne's clone baby and that was all this was about, but then we're in space on a different planet. Okay, we didn't really even establish we were on Earth at the beginning of the game, so that's still kind of confusing. What an odd ending. What an odd ending. So, we've had quite the journey. And not a lot to complain about. In fact, that was a very well made point-click adventure game. We didn't, except for at the very beginning in a couple places, get confused or just didn't try to use inventory items with other inventory items. We didn't end up pixel hunting much, except for when we were confused at the beginning. So there was a little bit of a warm up in the game, but all the middle went very smoothly. We did have to go back and forth to set the temperature, and it would have been nice if somewhere there was a line of dialogue that had set the temperature in one place and the humidity in another, instead of just trying random temperatures. But tiny little complaints about a couple of the puzzles. And then my bigger complaint is I wish the animation needed to be a little bit better in that final cutscene, and I wish everything else was zoomed in. If this whole game was turned out by like a AAA developer, and that's really where, if they had the budget, I could totally see this company, this very small company of people, they could have done a lot better and hired more voice actors to voice act everything and gotten a little bit more tighter animation things. I don't believe for a second that all of the good looking art here is not custom art, that it's like pre-bought assets. That doesn't seem correct. So very, very happy with the free game, certainly. Stasis is the sequel. It's out there. I would highly recommend, if you enjoyed this, to consider buying Stasis. Created by the Brotherhood, arts by one person, programming by one person, and they have the last name, so that tells me that they probably are brothers, if you're going to call yourself there. Editing is done by Crystal, of the same name. This seems like they might, with the last name Bischoff, they might not be Westerners so much. They might be from Europe, or maybe not. There's 4 people that did the music. There's 5 people that did beta testing. There's some translations, some legal, and some accounting. And this is done in Unity, and that's amazing. So some of the sound effects were Unity assets. Some of the stuff probably might be Unity. I wouldn't be surprised if like this right here is a Unity asset. I wouldn't be surprised if the faces of some of the characters on the PDAs were Unity assets, because they seem to stand out and be out of place. I wouldn't be surprised if even Hadley was a Unity asset that then got changed for a weird thing. No real explanation there as to why they have her in this weird metal bra shield thing attached to her. It's just supposed to be kind of body horror metal, and when you start to think of some of the crazy body horror movies like The Fly, or the remakes of The Fly, that's right in there. Is that the Videodrome? I know is a body horror movie that's really crazy, and we don't get a ton of that. would I have preferred if the ending were that she just woke up and it was all a dream? It works either way. I didn't like this ending though. I would have said, you know what, it probably is better to just say it's a dream than to do what they did here. I can only guess that maybe stasis is it maybe slightly connected to Cayne, and it seems like for each one of those research facilities there might be another Hadley clone out there. But as a point and click adventure game, I really liked it. As a free game, amazingly good. And just those two complaints. I want more voice acting. I want better graphics. I want to be zoomed in. I wish we had more time with Hadley. I wish we had more conversations with Hadley. The voice in our head motif is done way too much in video games, and that's a slight issue too. And so, do you want more isometric adventures is the question. And I assume with the profits from, well, I don't know if they even made any profits from Cayne because it's free. And I think it's always been free. I think they were planning on selling it and then they decided to just make it free, which is an odd thing to do. But let me put it this way. With the knowledge from programming Cayne, I suspect Stasis is a much bigger game, or at least twice as long, and a better story. It probably takes out some of the body horror and tells a more traditional horror game where something, for instance, like Dead Space, which is a body horror game, that is probably more acceptable when you're not always centering it around babies and monstrous babies and killing babies and all of that. But that's gonna be it for this series. I hope you enjoyed it. I will also say, sorry again, this is the Mother's Day series that I could think of. Like, seriously, if you can think of any game on Steam that has anything to do with a mother in any slight way that I can stretch it, then that gives me a good reason next year to play it on Mother's Day. So let me know in the comments if you can make any suggestions. Things like Mother Brain from Metroid won't work because any Nintendo games I won't ever cover because they copyright claim everything. And until they stop doing that, I would never cover a Nintendo game. Plus, they're not on PC anyways. And that's the only other game I even know that has anything with even the word mother being a big issue. And so, this is what I had to pick. I hope you enjoyed the series anyways. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out and tells YouTube that my videos are worth watching. And when you subscribe, please click that bell to get notifications when my videos are available so you can keep on coming back. And down below in the description box, I have links to all my social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, Battle.net. So please follow and friend me on all of those services too. That helps me with those services and it gives you a backup for notifications. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.